of stuff and a 3-foot-long receipt. Offering a subscription service, on the other hand, flies completely in the face of this time-tested strategy. We're basically inviting our guests not to come into the store, don't come, not to deviate from the list, and frankly, not shop. To say there was resistance to this strategy early on would be putting it mildly. And let's be honest, the economics of shipping $4 bottles of dish soap are not great. But the economics of losing a guest to a competitor because we're no longer in the consideration set are decidedly worse. Yet, after testing a small number of SKUs, in key frequency categories, we quickly saw this model had a huge upside potential, and it didn't cannibalize store traffic. Looking at shopping patterns, guests who signed up for subscriptions kept making about the same number of trips to our stores, about 1 every 3 weeks. But on the digital side, what we lose on shipping big, bulky items to doorsteps, that's a rough one. We more than gain back from guests who are spending more than 6 times as much online. 6 times. Okay, so it's one thing to say yes to little things you know are going to pinch a little. But what about stuff you're afraid will actually hurt? All right, I want to talk about the S word. The S word. Don't worry, Kurt. Showrooming. About 3 years ago, Target rolled out Wi-Fi all of its stores. Big investment important to our guests. It almost seems quaint now, but the very real fear internally, felt very real at the time at least, was that if we put Wi-Fi in our stores, people would use it to buy stuff from our competitors. The thinking went, people would walk into our store, play around with a Jambox sound system, and then punch up that item for a lower price on Amazon or somewhere else and buy it. We get showrooms. Fast forward to today. Guess what the most popular website our guests visit from our in-store Wi-Fi network? Target.com by a mile, not even close. The reality is, this is a good thing, people do like the showroom, but they also like to buy from the showroom they're in. It's true of baby, electronics, and you can find it in food. People want product recommendations and reviews, they want more styles, more options, they want to customize. So we're actually adding iPads to stores and testing beacons. But at a certain price point, it's interesting. They really want to touch and feel the product before they buy it. So we tried something different. This spring, we did a test in Denver in our patio furniture department to see how far we could push the notion of showrooming. As you know, patio furniture is actually becoming a very highly digitally penetrated business. At Target, for the 3rd year in a row, this being the 3rd year in a row, Target will sell more patio furniture online than our 1,800 stores. And as you can imagine, we don't really consider patio furniture high-frequency items. It's highly uncommon that a guest has a patio furniture emergency. It happens, but it's less common. So what we tried to figure out in Denver is how much product we needed to have available that a guest could take home, and what kind of assortment could we offer that could be delivered in a few days. So here's what we learned. First, showrooms work. The test stores crushed the rest of our stores in terms of sales volume, delivering 2 and 3 times as much revenue. And the opportunity cost of only displaying a tightly curated in-store assortment were negligible. It just wasn't very common somebody would come in and insist on buying a display-only product. Second, our guests would rather buy these things online because this stuff's really heavy. Free ship is a lot more attractive than renting or borrowing a truck. What we learned is that guests really are looking for shorter delivery windows though, just a day or 2, not 5 or 7. So we have to figure out faster ways to get product into those markets so we can deliver them faster for next year. Third, we found that if we put the best of the best on the sales floor, we could sell a higher price point product. There's no way we can afford to carry inventory of multiple $3,000 patio sets in every store, but we only can have a sample and deliver it online. Fourth, this was important. Incentivizing the store teams really matters. Given the size of the seasonal section, we were chewing up a big chunk of space with items that under an old formula would be counted as digital sales. But by giving the store team credit for these sales, which they then can count to the store-wide performance, we got a lot more buy-in and engagement from that team. It was a huge part of the success. And finally, we think patio is just a start. We're also working on ways to replicate this strategy in other categories with similar characteristics: nursery, furniture, electronics, and more. So, I've covered a lot of ground today, and as I said at the top, I know that everyone here is dealing with a lot of the same issues. Maybe not the same scale, maybe not the same kinds of legacy constraints, but how you deal with channel management, how you adjust your operating model, Reposition your assets, how you challenge old thinking or take risks, how you put your guests first in every decision you make. These are all universal things that we're all working through as retailers in this digital age. But if I leave you with anything, it's this: embrace change. In this industry, change is absolutely a constant, and it happens one moment at a time, and what you do in that moment is entirely up to you. Thank you very much.